not an AI. Puzzle man, you know. Anyway, yeah, so Dane actually saved me from getting in shade that day. Wild Child, Adam, love yous, MJ, love you. If it wasn't for Dane, that guy would have got me because I was too busy going at my one, and then he clocked the one that was gonna stab me in the back, yeah. And just so all of you guys know, before this brawl occurred, I was in my room and I was sticky taping magazines like all around my stomach. So like if I had got with a blade, it wouldn't have gone in too much, you know. I've seen boys that had magazines on them, and guess what? The blade actually went through the magazine. So I made it thick before I went out, you know. After I picked up the blade and I threw it on the roof, I turned to everyone, and pretty much everyone was still going at it. The brawl was still happening on top of the hill. Brawl was happening on this side, and like I think the only one that wasn't fighting, because three guys were laying around me, was me and Dane, because we had taken care of our situation. Lee Latogi, yeah, as well. He had taken care of his guy, and so it was just us three standing. And then the squad came down with the dogs. The dogs started barking, and then everyone backed off, and pretty much there was like the Kuri boys were like laid out, and about three Kuri boys were still standing, yeah, going off and yelling out like, let's go, but nothing could happen anyway because the squad had stopped it. This was a real brawl. This was what you call gang related, you know. It's not a gang, you know. So to all you youngsters, that's what I went through. That was my first experience of racial wars, you know. And this is what's going to happen to you guys when you guys go in, you know. Like, you're not going to expect anything. You think you're going to do your time peacefully, and then all of a sudden it breaks out, and then your family is going to be sitting there wondering when you don't call, like, what's happening, you know. Because I didn't call my family for 3 weeks because they segregated everyone, and they took me off phone calls because of the brawl that occurred. But guess what? See that brawl? That brawl was the beginning of the end for me, because every prison I went to after that, as soon as the Kuri boys noticed me, they attacked me, you know. So that brawl we won, right? We went I went to Windsor prison, and I was only there for 1 day, and I walked in, and you remember the guy that tried to snatch the cordial off me? His cousin was there, yeah? And his cousin was going off his head and saying, get up here. And I was standing next to Fili Tafahema, Sione Ika. These two were the older boys. And sorry, Fili Tafahema was my age, sorry. But the two older boys was Sione Ika, Tongan, and Banana. I don't know his real name, but everyone called him Banana. And he was one of the older boys as well. Me, Fili Tafahema, and Lee Latogi, us three, we were all the same age, all right? So it was my first day. I just got to Windsor, and this guy's yelling at me, get up here, dog, get up here. And Philly walked over to me, goes, Uso, you're good? And I go, yeah. He goes, bro, this guy's offering you out, saying something about that, what happened at Park Lee. And I said, yeah. I'll go, bro, I didn't start it. They started it, you know? Jay, Adam, thank you. And Banana, one of the older boys, goes, leave it to me, let me go talk to them. He went, spoke to them, and pretty much what they said was, we don't care. If Peter doesn't fight one-on-one, we're gonna attack you. So Banana came down and goes, look, bro, we're gonna back you all the way. He goes, but you can't friggin' back down. Like, he's offering you out for one-on-one, so it's up to you. And this is why I love Li'i Latogi so much, because while I was standing there and Banana was giving me this lecture, Li'i Latogi walked over and whispered into my ear and said, Uso, do you want me to fight for you? Because Li'i could fight, you know? And I turned to him, I go, nah, I'm all good, Uso. I go, this is how I am. I'm very quiet, yeah? So a lot of people, when they see me quiet, they take my kindness for weakness, you know? And Banana was talking to me, I just had my head down. I was like, yeah. Li'i Latogi offered to fight for me. I said, I'm all good. And then pretty much the boys split up, because majority of the Islander boys that were backing me were Tongan boys. And then I went up. I'm not going to say this crew guy's name because I haven't seen him in prison a long time, and God willing, he changed his life, and he's doing something. I was getting jumped everywhere I went. So when I walked in to have a one-on-one with this guy, he shaped up, he jabbed. He came in with a straight, and I laid him out. All right. It wasn't with one hit; it was with two hits. So I hit him with a straight, and then as he bent down to cover up, the left uppercut came, and then he put up his head and he said, "Enough, enough, enough." I didn't realize at the time I had broken his jaw here. He kept like, enough. That's how he was talking, and I was thinking, all right, that's enough, and get out of my cell, because it was my cell. He walked to my cell and he was telling me to come into the cell and fight. Yeah? Listen to this funny story. It's my cell. He offered me out, and then he got his jaw broken, and then he turns my tap on and starts washing his mouth in my tap. And I was thinking, but should I hit this bloke again? But I'm not like that, yeah? So when he was washing his mouth, like, he looked up at me and he goes, all good, bro, all good, no, that's it. And then he walked out. So I let this guy walk out. I could have finished him, yeah? But I let him walk out, and because I wanted peace, you know? He walked out, walked down the stairs, and then he walked off with his crew boys, and all the Tongan boys walked over to me. They were shaking my hand. Lila Toki was shaking my hand, and he goes, fucking oath, man, yeah. Like the Islander boys, Biggs, love you, thank you very much. You represented the Islander boys good, so you represent the Islander boys good. Then I walked outside with the Islander boys, and we're kicking back, relaxing, yeah? And when we're kicking back, relaxing, the Fijian boys called us over to the fence. JT, his name was, yeah? and he started saying to Banana, like, bro, what the hell's wrong with you? And Banana was like, what do you mean? He goes, what are you starting trouble for? Because everything was peaceful here until this fucking bloke came, and he pointed at me, you know? And I was like, bro, what are you talking about? I said, he offered me out. And that JT started going, I don't care. He goes, bro, everything was peaceful. Now we're freaking all getting locked in because of you. And this JT bloke, mate, if you've seen him, freaking muscly bloke. He's very, very intimidating, yeah. And I've seen him knock out a lot of Islanders, yeah. And Will Hub, love you, thank you very much, Adam. And he was on the other side of the fence, and I didn't realize that he was already in that mentality where the Fijian boys are with the Kuri boys. So he didn't say it directly at me like, bro, we're with the Kuri boys, F you, but pretty much he tried to make an excuse to like to start trouble with me by saying, why'd you come here to Windsor and start trouble, you know? Straight away, as soon as he walked off, one of the other Fijian boys walked over and said to us, hey boys, heads up. He goes, I think the Kuri boys are gonna come at you. And the numbers were even. It's pretty much about 7-on-7, yeah? Facts. ATR, thank you. And we were standing there, and I'll never forget this. Now, Shona Ika, he had this thing. Kika, thank you. Isaac, appreciate you. When he walked, he used to like have like his fingers out, and it was like sort of like a feminine walk, yeah, but you couldn't mock the guy because the bloke was muscly as well. Like he had one of the best builds in prison, like him and Afele, yeah. But he had this feminine walk on him. But bro, don't ever judge a book by its cover, mate. You know, that day before the brawl broke out, Banana brought us together. So it was, the names I remember is Banana Shoneika, Philly Tapahema, and Lila Togi. Yeah, so we were standing in a circle. Oh, and Toka. We were all standing in a circle, and Banana was the oldest, and he goes, all right, boys, listen, I'm not going to let these guys sneak go us. He goes, because I think they got blades on them, yeah? None of us have got any blades. Has any of you got any blades? And we all looked at each other, and we're like, nah. And he goes, all right, that's it. We have to attack first. And I was thinking in my head, I'm good with a brawl, but far out, if these guys got blades, bro, we're gone. Will Hub, thank you. Maddie, thank you. And so Banana turned around, he looks at them, and they were in a circle, the Kuri boys, yeah? And I knew it, like I was thinking, bro, I think these guys are about to attack, because as they were standing there in a circle, they kept looking at us, and we were looking at them, they were looking at us, we were looking at them, and then all of a sudden, Banana turns to Shoneika, and he goes, let's go, like that. And remember I told you about Shona Ika's little feminine walk, yeah? But he's muscly as hell. He starts walking towards him. Fish, love you, thank you very much. Starts walking towards him and his fingers out like that. This feminine walk. As soon as he walked over, the Kuru boys like split in a line and they walked towards him. And he walked over and like he had his head like this. And then as soon as he moved his head to the right, I'll never forget, his head went to the right. And one of the Kuru boys go, what? And he just went crack. Bro, I'm telling you, that Shona Ika was a soldier, bro. As soon as he cracked him, Banana went at it. And then I just ran straight in. And mate, that brawl just broke out. 7-on-7. Nice even brawl, yeah? And everyone was going at it. And I remember Lee Latogi having a good one-on-one. I remember Philly Tafahema was having a one-on-one with the guy that I had broken his jaw, yeah? And when Philly was having a one-on-one with him, I ran over and I king hit him and he dropped. As soon as he dropped, he stood up and he ran. And then me and Philly Tafahema were chasing him, yeah? And then this guy was jumping over chairs trying to get away from us. And as I turned to go help Shona Ika and what's his name, Banana. Oh, that's right. The other Tongan boy was Tani. So Tani had a chair and like he hit someone. He picked up a chair and he was swinging it at everyone. This brawl was like so massive that after it was stopped, all the boys got tipped to Goulburn, all the older boys, you know. And I'm pretty sure Philly Tafahema also got tipped to Goulburn. And remember, Goulburn was like that's where it's at, you know. That's where all the real gangsters were. So we were all young offenders, and everyone that was at Windsor was from the age of 18 to 25. But if you were over 25, it's because you were going to Oberon as a delegate, or the officers kept you there because they knew that you were a good influence. And anyway, that guy that I broke his jaw, yeah, when the brawl broke out with us, the Islanders on the other side, who were supposed to be backing us, they turned around and said to Banana, nah, we don't want nothing to do with it. And you know what, I don't blame him. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to make him look like a fool, because I haven't seen him in a long time, and if he's doing good with his life, like, God bless him and his family, you know. But he was stupid because he's the one that walked over to us during this all-in brawl, and he said to Banana these exact words, mate, I'm going home. I don't need to be involved in this rubbish, you know. And then Banana was like, yeah, all good, bro, don't preach up. Like, if you don't want to be involved in it, then keep walking. He was on the other side. So pretty much all the Islanders in every side of of Windsor was ready to go, except for the side that was next door to me. So the pod that was next door to me, they didn't really want much to do with it. Remember that guy that I broke his jaw? He ended up going to Long Bay Hospital, yeah? And you remember the guy that said he wanted to nothing to do with it because he was going home soon? He ended up going to Long Bay. He was sitting there playing cards, and the guy that I broke his jaw, he came up from behind while he was playing cards, and King hit him and freaking gave him the biggest black eye, bro. You know? To this day, I'm like, wow, really? You were older than me. You should have known, like, way better than me to, like, be ready, you know? And you know, I think he was over it. Like, he was over jail, overdoing time, and he just wanted to go home to his family. So that's why he uttered those words to Banana, and then it came back and bit him in the ass, because as soon as he got to Long Bay Prison, he got kinged from his side from that Kuru guy, you know. And that same Kuru guy is the same one that gave me headaches everywhere I went. And this is what I'm saying to each and every one of you youngsters out there: when you go inside prison, you go in thinking you're going to do your time. Hell no. I don't care if it's not the racial wars. What I'm talking about is right now, yeah? If you go in right now, yeah, you're going to have the luxury of an iPad, but guess what? Any issues that you had on the outside is gonna come and bite you in the ass on the inside. There's a lot of you social media guys out there that's been talking it up, yeah? And I know for a fact that when you went inside prison, you got. The only reason why I don't bring it up is because I don't care. You know, my thing is, I'm not trying to expose people and bring them down. If I expose someone for something stupid, it's because I want the youngsters to learn from it. For example, that Spaniard and Keanu situation. It's because I just wanted the youngsters to understand. See these two guys? They were best mates, and then Spaniard turned on him, you know? But like I said, I wasn't trying to freaking bring down those two boys. Good on them for changing their lives and doing what they got to do for their family. But the youngsters needed to hear that situation. Fast forward, I get to Oberon. I did something stupid, and I ended up getting tipped around to all the prisons, yeah? mate. When I got to Cessnock prison, Benny, thank you. Marie, love you, thank you. Usinite, thank you. I got to Cessnock prison, and the same situation. So remember what I told all you youngsters. Inside prison, they do not forget. See outside here, you can run amok all you want, because you can run to Mount Jewel, you can run to Campbelltown, you can run to the city, you can run to North Shore, or you can just take off to Melbourne or Queensland, yeah? See, inside prison, you can't run nowhere. Anywhere you go, you're gonna get got. Like, even if it takes 2-3 years, people do not forget. And this is what all of you are not realizing right now. You think that, yeah, you got some boys, King, Lecky, you think you've got some boys on the inside, you be Itswa. Guess what? You won't be Itswa, because as soon as you bump into to the guys that you do have issues with, you're not gonna freaking be going on with it. You're gonna be telling the screws, I'm not supposed to be here because I'm not in that gang, you know. And that's what when people say that, I consider you a weak cunt, you know. Like, you want to be a gangster, you want to be a hard guy, then walk in and face your enemies, you know. But this is what I'm saying to you guys. What I went through, learn from it. That's all I'm trying to put forward right now. So when I got to Cessnock, same situation with the Kuru boys, yeah? I walk in, everyone starts yelling out my name. Everyone's like, hey, I see you in the morning, dog. I see you in the morning, huh? And I didn't know who was saying this to me, because when I got to Cessnock, there's like 3 levels, yeah? Smith, Lecky, thank you very much, love you. 63, Benny, thank you. And the 3 levels was just filled with Kuru boys. And they were all just yelling at me, see you in the morning, ya dog, see you in the morning, ya gronk, like that. And I was like, yeah, Itwa. I walked into my room, I grabbed the pencil, and I tied it around my hand, and then I just stood there outside my door, and I just waited. Nothing happened that night, yeah? But there's something that the older boys taught me when I was at Silverwater, when I first came in, yeah? And this is, when you are uncomfortable inside prison, when you walk into a pod, walk straight to your cell, fill up your kettle and turn it on. And as soon as the water is boiled, just kick back in your cell. Because it doesn't matter if 20 blokes attack you in your cell, your hot water will defeat them on its own. So next morning at Cessnock prison, I'm kicking back, and then I walked outside and I could see all eyes on me. My kettle was already boiled, so it was boiling hot, and I wouldn't move from the front of my cell. I just stood there with my pencil tied around my hand, and I had it in my pocket, and I was just waiting for them to come down, because obviously they were all swearing at me the night before. I looked at the screw, and the screw gave me a weird look, yeah? Then he walks inside, and then this is when I heard it. Clear the wing! Clear the wing! And I was like, I'm gonna get got outside, because clear the wing means everyone has to go outside. And that Cessnock back then, it used to be opened, yeah? So anyone could get got anywhere. There was a lot of blind spots at Cessnock prison. I walked into my room and I grabbed my kettle and I stood at my door and I saw all the Kuru boys walking past. And then I saw this Islander. You know what? I'm not going to expose the bloke, but I'm going to call him a weak cunt, yeah? Because when I was at Silverwater, when I first came in, he was my first cellie, yeah? And I swear to you, when I was there, he's looking in the mirror and he's like throwing punches at the mirrors like he's a cool guy, you know? And I remember watching him throwing punches at the window, and then he turned to me and he goes, hey, also, just make sure in the morning, he goes, you know, stand in the mirror, do what you got to do, you know, to learn from the older boys. And he was like trying to teach me, but in a in a show-off way, you know, like I'm someone who loves to learn. So if I don't care if you're the biggest gronk in prison, I don't care if you're the biggest junkie outside. Like, sorry, thank you, Adam, thank you, love yous. If I believe that you learn something from everyone, you know, it doesn't matter what it is, like you learn something from any situation and any person. So when he was talking with this bridge, I didn't say nothing, but fast forward, when I bumped into him when I was at Cessnock and all the Kuru boys were gonna get me, he actually walked past me, yeah? And guess what? He stopped at my cell and he whispered to me, also be careful. He goes, the Kuru boys are gunning for you. Sonny, thank you, Sonny. And then he walked off. And I was thinking, hang on a sec. This bloke is the one, when I first came to prison, he was like showing me all these these moves with his boxing skills, and he was telling me how much of a frontline soldier he is, and to make sure that I get up in the morning and I do my training so I can keep up with the older boys. And then he didn't even, like, out of the words, I got your back all the way. He literally just said, be careful, the Kuri boys are gunning for you. So when I walked out into the yard by myself, I was actually by myself. I walked out and I was looking around, and every Kuri in Cessnock was just looking at me, yeah, and I was like, bro, I'm dead. So what I did was, there was like a hall with stairs here. I walked over to the stairs and I sat down. As I sat down at the stairs, Asian boys walked over to me, and he knelt down and he whispered to me, he goes, hey, brother, he goes, why your people no back you up? And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, all the Kuri boys want to get you, but none of your people come and talk to you. And I said, oh, I don't know. I'm all right. I'm all right by myself. And he shook his head and he goes, here, take this. And remember how I told you, like, the 4 main nationalities inside prison? Adam, love you, thank you. Guess what? What the screw told me at Silverwater when I first come in prison, if you have an issue, turn to the Asian boys if your Islander mates are not backing you up. And I didn't turn to this Asian guy. He actually came over and offered to help me, yeah? When he said to me, take this, I looked down and he pulled a blade out this big, yeah, from his jacket, and he snuck it into my jacket. And I put it there, and I was like so happy, because I was like, bro, if I'm gonna go down, at least I'm gonna go down trying my best. Like, I got a blade this big, you know? And he gets to me, he said to me, look, I'm sorry, bro, like, we can't back you up because at the moment we've got tension with the Kuri boys. And he goes, and it just got squashed. And he goes, and if we get involved, he goes, we're gonna get hammered because there's only 6 of us, you know? And he goes, so I just give you that blade. Hopefully the Islander boys will come back here, you know, because there's Islander boys in another pod. Then he walked away. As I was sitting there by myself, one of my close friends from a kid come walking over. His name was Tony Sefel. Like, I was fully surprised, hugged him, and he was like, bro, what are you doing here? And straight away I was like, bro, I'm gonna get chopped. And he what? He's like, what? By who? I go, the Kuri boys. I go, I got a big blade, I'm ready to go, you know, it's all good. And he goes to me, no. He goes, come here, I'm gonna introduce you to one of the Fijian boys and to one of the Islander boys who was TLC. I forget his name, Rob Lulu, yeah? Went over to the pod, I got introduced to Rob Lulu, and I got introduced to Langy, Tongan Langy from Newcastle, Solomon Sulai and his brother. There was a lot of boys that I got introduced to that day, and that's when I realized these guys were gangsters, yeah? The ones that Tony Sefo introduced me to. After I shook all their hands, they asked me what was going on. I explained the situation. They said, all right, sweet, then let's go talk to the Kuri boys. Went and talked over to the Kuri boys, and pretty much the Kuri boys go, look, it's the younger generation's drama. Let's just let them have a one-on-one. So Robert Lulu goes, all right, pick your best fighter to fight him. And then the Kuri boys go, yeah, all good. And they walked away. Robert Lulu turns around to me and goes, bro, are you good to fight? He goes, if you're not good to fight, I'll fight for you. And I said, yeah, if it's a one-on-one, I'm good to fight. All good. Like, I don't care. Whatever happens, happens. Guys, before I finish this story, please, while you're listening, don't forget to tap it up, yeah? Like, tap it up. I love you. Thank you very much for tuning in, yeah? We end up going behind education. Now, behind education, there was no cameras. So we got all the Islander boys, Adam, Randy Cohen, thank you very much, love you. There's no cameras behind there. So you got Islanders here and the Kuri boys. JLC, Adam, love yous. But the Kuri boys outnumbered us silly. But you know what? I'm going to give big respect to the older Kuri guy that was there that day. JS, the only thank you. Because he was the one that pretty much made sure the Kuri boys didn't attack us. Because there was only probably about 8 of us. And there was probably about 100 Kuris there. You know, and they could have just attacked us. But because the older guy was sensible and he had been through all the wars throughout the 90s, and we were all now like in medium security, he didn't want to go back to Maxo. So he pretty much told all the younger Kuri boys, he goes, look, this is a younger generation drama. He goes, none of yous have any issues with this guy Peter. Thank you, JS, love yous, thank you. So it's just going to be a one-on-one. So remember, guys, everyone that was at Cessnock, yeah, the Kuri boys that were at Cessnock, none of them had any dramas with me. Remember the situation that happened at Parkley? It followed me. Everywhere I went, it kept fucking following me. And I was thinking, it's over a cordial, bottle. What the hell? Like, everywhere I went, this drama was freaking was coming up. You know, I couldn't hide from it, and as it wasn't like I was trying to hide from it, but I was like, yeah, hopefully no one knows now when I get to this prison. Guess what? Every time I got there, boom, straight away, hey, that bloke, remember him, the Fair Islander, that's him, get him. Anyway, big respect to the older Koori guy that at Cessnock back then who stopped us from getting jumped and made sure that it was a one-on-one, yeah. I'm not gonna say the name of the Koori guy that I had a one-on-one with. I don't want to put him on show, but because we ended up being friends later on. Like, this guy was a good fighter, and I remember when he walked over to me to fight, this guy had an 8-pack. All right, 6-pack, seen it. 4-pack, seen it. 8-pack, wow. See, this guy came over, he looked fit as hell, yeah. Anyway, he started shaping up. Oh no, listen to this. When he walked over, Koori boys made a big circle, and the Islander boys only had a little circle, yeah. Thank you very much, love ya, SNY. Adam, thank you very much. And then when he walked over to me, I put out my hand to shake his hand. I know it sounds stupid, but this is how I always fought since I was a kid. If I was gonna have a one-on-one, I always shook the bloke's hand first. But when I went to shake this Koori guy's hand, Jay-Z, thank you very much. I went to shake his hand, yeah, and he slapped my hand. And then he goes, get out of here. You wanna F with the brothers? He goes, this is where you're gonna cop. And he's jumped back, he started shaping up, he had an 8-pack, yeah? And I thought to myself, wow. I went to shake his hand like a gentleman, and he slapped it away. I go, yeah, all good then, you know? So I stepped back. Usually I take my shirt off, but I don't know, for some reason, like, I wanted to keep it on because I felt like the crews were about to jump us, you know? I shaped him, he came rushing in. It was the worst thing he could have done, you know, because as soon as he rushed in, I threw a punch, closed my eyes, hope for the best. And when I opened my eyes, his nose was bleeding. I clocked him, boom, straight in the nose. His nose started bleeding. He went down, and I could tell he was seeing like 5 of me, because when he stood up, like he was going like this, yeah. And then I stepped back, and I was waiting for him to come to, but then the screws all come running because there was too many people at the back of education. And when the screws all came running, they're like, everyone get on the fence, everyone get on the fence. And all the Koori boys like, let me tell you something, guys. Out of every nationality, I'll tell you straight, the Koori boys were the most ruthless because they had the most numbers, yeah? And as soon as the screws come running over and they started going off, everyone get on the fence, the Koori boys were starting saying, shut up, and they kept walking. And I was thinking, whoa, they didn't even listen to the screws, yeah? Get the fuck out of here, dogs, and they kept walking. So when they walked, all the Islander boys turned around and started walking as well, and pretty much the screws couldn't get anyone on the fence, so they were just like looking around at each other, and then they were like, just leave it, let it go. So everyone just parted ways. And then the older Koori boy came back, and he said to Rob Lalulu, he goes, hey, you know the young fella? Tell him it's not over, they got to finish the one-on-one. And then Rob was like, yeah, all good, no worries. Went back to at the back of education after lunch again, and got ready for the one-on-one. Boom, the one-on-one went on. This guy ripped my shirt, and I ended up getting it over him. I won the fight. The Islanders looked good. I represented the Islanders to the best of my ability. You know, like I said, like all respect to that older Koori who let us, you know, win fairly. You know, because at the end of the day, this guy had the numbers, and he could have crushed us that day. But you know, he let it go. But also, big love and respects to the boys that backed me that day. You know, like Rob Lalulu and Langy, the Sulai brothers, and them. Like, I was young, and Tony Sefo as well. You know, there was other Islander boys there. But I just don't remember their names because they were older boys, you know. So I wish I remember their names. One of them was in for the bank robberies back when they used to use the sledgehammers to rob the banks, yeah. Anyway, my big love and respects to all you guys that day, because none of you knew me from a bar soap except my close friend Tony Sefo. But they all stuck with me. And I'm telling you, that day when we faced the Koori boys, we all knew that we were gonna get crushed if it was a brawl, you know. And Rob Lalulu said to every single one of the boys that day, he goes, he's ready to go, because I don't want to see any of yous stepping out today if you're not going to be involved. If you step out and you're not involved, I promise you I'll come back and I'm coming after you. Aldine, Adam, thank you very much. He told, that's how he said it to everyone before we went out to get ready for the Koori boys. He goes, if you come outside to watch and you don't get involved when something breaks out, I'm telling you, you're gonna get got. Bob, thank you very much. Adam, love you. So after winning that fight that day, this is where it came down to. Like, I ended up going to different prisons because obviously I was running amok in prison back then. Yeah, I'm gonna finish this story another time because there's too much to tell. But I get jumped several times, yeah, and there is a lot of older boys, Middle Eastern boys, Kuri boys, Islander boys, Asian boys. If it wasn't for these guys, like, you'd probably see me all scarred up today, you know. Yes, I fought with all my heart, but at the end of the day, if it wasn't for those guys, I wouldn't be anything. But at the same time, it was over a cordial. So to all you youngsters out there, just remember, if you want to be involved in this life, it doesn't matter what it's over, whether it's over